Sea Ray. Every moment perfectly crafted.
Welcome to the SDX 290 Stern Drive Model Year 21 walkthrough. So before I get started on the walkthrough, I want to talk a little bit about the gel scheme for Model Year 21. So we have a new refined black and blue metallic flakes for Model Year 21. If you look at this whole side, we actually have a Zone 2 black metal flake. And then we also offer a Kingfisher teal and a Neo Mint green new for Model Year 21. All your colors from Model Year 20 carry over except for the metallics. In addition to that, you still have the ability to get your full hull and the hull side in any color that you want. Now let's go and take a look at the rest of this boat. So now we're here at the transom of this boat. So you'll notice that I'm standing on sea deck. This is actually the brown sea deck offering that we have. We also have it in gray. But one of the other really nice features of this boat is the submersible swim step. So you just come down here and you flip it down in the water and you have easy access in and out of the water. It's really great for small children, older folks, and the dogs. So we'll fold that back up. Then you'll notice before I get up, we have a ski tow eye here, so it's really great for pulling tubes and things like that, knee borders. Now, before I move on into the rest of the features back here, the loungers are optional. You can also do a sun pad back here, but this is a really popular feature. So one of the things that's really nice about this lounger setup is we have a remote latch right here. It allows you to lift this up, and then you have storage for all your toys right here. So you can bring your tubes, you can bring your knee boards, and you can drop them right into the storage area. So now closing that up, you have a nice little wet box here. And then back here, a nice little glove box. These loungers also slide out for taller people so they can actually sit here. So you have a little pull here, you pull it and slide it out, and then you can have a nice seat here. So before we make our way all the way into the cockpit, let's talk about the features that are here in the walkway. So first and foremost, we have a 12-volt receptacle, which is great for plugging in your pumps for your water toys or your tubes. Then you have your transom remote for your audio, so you can control your audio from here without having to walk through the cockpit. We have a very nice in-floor storage cooler right here in the walkway, so that way you don't have to jump in and out of the boat for your drinks. A transom door, great for keeping the kids and the dogs in the boat, and then just sits there nicely. But before I go in, then we still have a couple other features. We have the transom shower, great for washing things off before you get all the way into your boat. Then we have the boarding step. This is really great for those coastal markets. So you got non-skid here and a boarding step there, so when the tide goes in and out and your boat's going up and down, you got a nice way to get in without having to make an 18-inch drop. So now let's talk about the features in the cockpit. Now we're in the cockpit of the SDX 290 Stern Drive, but before I get into all the other features that you guys are seeing here in this boat, let's talk a little bit about the new tower from Model Year 21. As you can see, I've got plenty of head clearance. It's a brand new tower, has cam latches on it, so it's nice and easy to get up and down, has a bimini with 119 inches of sun coverage, and also has some other optional features like tower speakers that can be mounted here. You have insert panels that can be installed up here that can color match your hull side, your Zone 2, your full hull, and your hull side. Then additionally, you can get board racks. So for your wakeboards and your surfboards and things like that, you can mount those right here. Now, let's talk a little bit about what I'm standing on here. So if you look down at the floor, you can see that there is a brown sea deck in this boat. As I told you on the transom, there's brown and gray available. This just happens to be the brown. You can also get brown carpet, brown infinity, or the brown snap-in sea deck. We also have 3 upholstery colors for Model Year 21, just like we did in Model Year 20. We have our dune, which you can see here with the honeycomb accents and the brown contrast stitching with the espresso accents down here in your lower loft. Then you can get dune with medium gray, or you can get ivory with the espresso that you see here. Now, let's go and talk about some of the other features in this cockpit. So as we continue to make our way through the cockpit, let's talk a little bit about what we see here. So we have the cockpit refrigerator, which is an optional feature. We have the Kenyon grill, which doesn't have anything over the top of it right now. And then we have a sink right here. You have an area to store your trash can and to store your lids for your Corian. So your Corian's stored away when you're in use of all this. And then when it's not in use, you can put it up here and have a nice solid surface. One of the questions that we're often asked is, where are the battery switches on the boats? So on the SDX 290, it's in a really great location. It's right here in the stern seating of the boat, with the battery switch being located on the aft wall, and you have your 2 batteries right here. Because we have the grill and everything on here as well, you also have more batteries in this storage compartment for your inverter and things like that to control your grill. As we make our way more into the cockpit, we have our blue LED lighting package in this boat. So you can see the accent lighting that's down here. Then your cup holders are also lit up as well. Now, making our way a little further forward, I have the seats for the helm and the passenger side facing aft. This is a fully convertible cockpit. So if you have a lot of people on the boat, you can switch this back and forth. So when you're underway, they can be facing forward. And when you're sitting around lounging, you can be facing aft and being a part of the conversation. Now, before I step out of this area of the boat, let's talk about some other features. We have a nice deep storage here in the floor. Under this port side seating, there's a nice place for your cooler. Slides in and out, and slide it right back in there, nice and easy. On the starboard side, we have a nice deep storage area so you can put your towels and all your belongings that you bring onto the boat for the day. And then we talked about the convertible seating. So when you're at the helm seat, you just push this back when you're ready to get underway. You have a thigh-rise bolster that you can lift up so you're sitting here at the helm comfortably. And then on the port side, you do the same thing with a thigh rise. One of the really nice features of this boat is the head. So this is a very large head on this boat. So people are going to be comfortable when they have to go in here during the day. So let's talk a little bit about the helm. So now we're at the helm. So there's a lot going on here. So let's start first with the Fusion Audio. So this is the premier audio upgrade. So you get a 770 Apollo head unit. What that does is that gives you 4-zone control. So each section of this boat is a different zone. It also gives you a subwoofer, an amp that powers all these Signature Series speakers. Moving to the dash, the standard dash on this boat is gauges. You can also upgrade to a 9-inch display, or you can do a 12-inch display. You have trim tabs on this boat, which are located right here. You have a USB and a connection to your Fusion Audio right there. So that way you can hardwire in if you don't want to use Bluetooth or the AirPlay in that unit. You also have all your lighting controls on this side, your anchor and windlass and bilge over here. And we always try to put the key switch to the outboard side so that way kids don't come up and try to hit the key switch. So let's make our way a little bit further forward in this boat. So we're walking through the walkthrough of this boat. You'll see that we have a storage compartment under the helm. And in there we have dedicated storage for our tables, both for the cockpit and the bow. And then you have room for life jackets and other items. Then you also have a bow block-off door. So if you're in a windy day or whatnot and everybody in the cockpit doesn't want to get blown away, you just open that door, lock it in place, and you're good to go and shut your windshield. So now we're in the bow of this boat. First, before I start talking about everything else up here, let's talk about the in-floor storage. You can see that you have a lid that it has gas struts on it that lifts it up and holds it up while you're underway, so you don't have to worry about trying to hold a lid up while you're putting stuff in and out of the storage area. Then if we put it down, we've got a cam style latch that holds it nice and tight to keep it from rattling while you're underway. Another thing that's really nice about the bow of this boat is the stainless steel windshield holder. So we put this on almost all of our boats so that it snaps down into place while you're underway so you don't have it rattling around. Or if you want to close it, it's nice and easy to open up and close. The other thing that's really nice about the bow is the armrest. So as you're sitting here and you're facing out looking forward, you have armrest. Under each seat in the bow, we have storage. So you can see you've got nice storage here. You have cup holders that are backlit with blue LEDs, and then you have your blue LED accent lighting up here as well. You have your honeycomb accent panels with the contrast stitching, and then you have those here in your backrest. One of the other nice features about this boat is the windlass. So I'm sure everyone's tried to set an anchor before, so the easiest way to do that is with a windlass. You power it up on your main dash, you drop the anchor after you pull your lanyard off, and then when you're ready to unset it, you start the motor up, you bump it forward, you unset the anchor, and you bring it up. The thing to remember there is don't try to use it like a winch because it'll end up popping a breaker or something like that. Then when you pull your anchor up, if you're like me and you've been around East Tennessee, you always have mud or silt or something on it. You've got a nice bow wash down here for it so you're not pulling a bunch of mud and stuff into your boat. So before we take off on this boat, I'd like to go back and show you the motor in this one. Okay, so now we wanted to talk a little bit about the motor on this boat before we leave. We have a nice little latch that's right there that unlocks this motor box and lets it lift up with the 2 gas-assisted struts. You can see that we have an 8.2 liter, 380 horsepower engine in this boat. This boat at wide open throttle will do about 46 to 48 miles per hour depending on how you're loaded. And then in the very back, you can see that we have a fire suppression system option on this boat as well, which is all controlled from your helm or automatically released. So now that we've gone through this boat, let's go and sit down and have a talk about some of the other features that are available. So that concludes our SDX 290 stern drive walkthrough. So before I go, I want to talk a little bit about 2 new packages that we created for model year 21. So the first is the Elite package. What's included in that Elite package? First, it's the fender clips that are located on the side of the boat that make it really nice and easy to put your fenders on. Second is your SeaDek on the swim platform. Third is your submersible swim step. Then we have our LED lighting package. And then you have your water sports tower, which you can see behind me, and your 9-inch Simrad. Now, we also have what's called an Elite Plus package. So the Elite Plus package includes all the contents of the Elite package plus some additional features. Those are the Premier audio system, your through-hole underwater lights, which you can't see here. You have your bow filler cushions, cockpit teak table. You have the head interior upgrade, which is the nice countertop that you saw in this boat, and including a vacuum flush head. Then you get your 12-inch Simrad, which replaces your 9-inch Simrad. Then the windlass and a stainless steel anchor upgrade. So the Elite and Elite Plus packages were created to help you order your boat. The Elite package is the options we see go out on most of the boats that are built out of our plant. The Elite Plus are usually the options that are added on after that. So what we did is we wanted to create those packages to make it easier for you. I want to thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Sea Ray. Every moment perfectly crafted.